That takes us into our next section, which is the hot takes. Now, Charlie, I'm reading yours. I think you need to explain it a little bit here.
All right, here's my hot take. They called the Slave One Firespray. It is called the Slave One, not Firespray, Slave One. And this whole current thing of just trying to delete anything that might offend somebody because it has the word slave in it is ruining my Star Wars. It's a galaxy far, far away, people, and a long time ago. This is science fiction history right here that we are learning about. Don't erase history. What are you doing? You can't. It happened. All right, it happened. Slavery's real. It's called the Slave One. Get over it, people. Slave One.
The hottest take of all. We're all talking about. Amanda, you go. You.
Well, I do agree it's a hot take. I disagree with it. And this shouldn't come as a surprise because I'm sort of the newest Star Wars fan of the group, so I'm not emotionally connected to the name Slave One. So at least in the context that it was used in this episode, he was like, oh, we have to go get my Firespray gunship. It wouldn't have made sense for him to be like, oh, we have to go get Slave One, and then Fennec's like, what? Sorry. What the heck is Slave One?
What the Firespray?
What the Firespray?
We got a nice message from a fan this week saying, I love listening to this episode with my family. Now all those families are going to learn all those dirty words, Amanda.
His or her much older family can take it.
But the truth is, Finnick could have said the same thing. What's the Firespray?
So, I want to talk about this because I, too, Charlie, like you, I totally get that, but at the same time, Slave One was a name. Firespray, so I have this book, the Essential Guide to Vehicles and Vessels, and I loved reading this. It's published in 1996, and they have the whole blueprints of Slave One, but it's a modified Kuwait Systems Engineering Firespray class patrol and attack ship. So I think Disney calling it this, at least they're calling a spade a spade. It is what it is. It is a
Firespray. It's like saying you used a shotgun,
Yeah, so if they would have called it anything else, sure, I would have thought this was really stupid. They shouldn't have done it. But since they're calling it what it is, I'm fine with it. And sure, it's still Slave One in my mind, but the name of it was Slave One. That's like naming your sailboat, and you name your sailboat, the Margarita, whatever. And then people get offended that people drink. You're like, you know what? We're just going to call it sailboat. It's sailboat. It's yeah,
cool.
Exactly. And I see what they're doing there. I don't see the need to change it, but at the same time, it doesn't bother me so much because they're calling it what it is. It's like calling the Millennium Falcon the YT something Corellian freighter or whatever. It is what it is. So I'm glad they're calling it a spade, but I don't know. With all the history
with Slave One, then they should at the very least had some kind of other segue to say that instead of just surprise. We're renaming it. We're not telling anybody about this. We're just gonna just do this and erase this and pretend this thing never happened. Hopefully, never. Everybody's going to just realize that we're bowing to the crowd, and we're just going to go ahead and say, okay, we'll just make sure we don't offend anybody here. And that's what I'm saying is ridiculous.
Okay, yeah, totally. I was going to say they should have explained why, or I think they had a perfect opportunity to have Boba Fett explain why, or kind of going along the theme of he doesn't want to be working at the behest of all these stupid employers like Jabba the Hutt or whatnot who are putting their lives at risk. Sure, maybe he's acting like a slave in that way, but I think there was a perfect opportunity to.
He could have called it. He could have just renamed it. He could have had something in there where he's I'm renaming the ship to this because I'm about this now instead of the other thing. I think he could have had a rechristening of it.
Yeah, missed opportunity there on the name, but I think the fires. I'm glad they're calling it what it is.
Well, all right. So Amanda disagrees. Christian, where do you disagree then?
I agree. It should have been handled better. Of give it more meaning to the name change. But the Firespray doesn't bother me. So if
You gotta get
Charlie, what are you
disagree.
saying? Like, is the take?
I'm saying
it
they
shouldn't
should
have changed at all.
They should have called it the Slave One because that's the name of the ship. The name
Then I
is not
disagree.
Firespray.
All
That's
right.
the type of ship, but not the name.
So, Charlie, you've had a few weeks where you've gotten some milk toast takes, and this week
This is
you
not
get-
milk toast, all right? This
you
is
get
not milk
a vote
toast.
down from the other two co-hosts, and I will tell you, the last 3 weeks I've given you milk toast after milk toast take, and you go out and then you spew out this out of your mouth and totally redeem yourself. This was a fantastic take. I love it. I've got the Slave One Lego right behind me. That's what it's called. That's what
Thank
I
you.
knew it as.
Is it called that on? Will you please bring that to show to Christian, our friend here, with his book? Will you turn around and grab that thing? Put it right up.
I
It says
also-
Slave One.
I had the
No, like
Legos.
I know it's the name. I
I
just
had
don't
the
care.
Slave One as a child, the Lego Slave One, which if I can find it anywhere, like the little Jango Fett toys, like $250 used on eBay. So I gotta go find that guy somewhere. But anyway, no, it's totally the Slave One. And here's my thing. Yes, he was correct in saying
It's just Slave
yes,
One. There's no the. It's just Slave One.
It whatever. They say the Millennium Falcon, but whatever. That's fine. Point is, in Millennium Falcon, even. Everyone knows the Millennium Falcon because it's Han Solo that pilots it. You see that in The Force Awakens. Everyone knows the Millennium Falcon. And it's not because they necessarily just did the Kessel Run in under 14 parsecs. It's because of all of the events that he had where he helped defeat the Empire with it. So it's fantastic. Took out the second Death Star with it. Supported the first Death Star being blown up with it. So fantastic. Boba Fett's the most feared bounty hunter in the galaxy, and you're telling me he looks at Fennec Shand and says, I need to go get my Firespray gunship. And she's like, oh, you mean the Slave One? And he's like, oh, wow, my reputation precedes me. Like, like that's
That
how the
would've made
conversation would
sense.
have Yeah, that would have made sense. And then if he wants to say, no, I'm not about that name anymore. I've decided to leave that life. Whatever. He can
I've
set...
learned so much through my travels in Tatooine that it is dated.
Yeah. I met some wolves who could dance, and let me tell you, they didn't like it. And that's where it is. So, Charlie, I will tell you, I'm about to play this soundbite, but just know I wholeheartedly...
Thank you. That means a lot deep down
I disagree with
inside.
this. Darth Vader, let him have it.
I find your lack of good takes disturbing.